home. It's
Saturday,
okay.
Saturday.
Yay! Well, welcome, guys. And I'm assuming we are live already, right? Are we? Are we?
Girl,
I
we're
need to check.
live.
But anyways, happy Saturday, everyone. Oh my gosh. Let us know where you're tuning in from. I am so excited to be here. Today's program is going to be amazing. Two fantastic, stellar, phenomenal super women. I am just like, we've been waiting for this moment. I'm like, oh my gosh, where are these wonderful ladies? But anyhow, Syya, hi, love. How are you?
Good morning to you. I just went through a massive sleep marathon and I got to watch another episode of season 2, episode 6, Alice in Borderlands. So I'm in a great mood. So good that I'm like, I haven't been this rested in a long time, you guys. I literally laid low on
Wow.
Friday. I think it's my first time laying low in a long time. You guys, rest is important.
Indeed, I would say so myself. This week has been a little hectic for me, with school activities for the girls, and just so many other different things that are going on in the background, getting ready for the holidays, and everybody's trying to rush. Either is two extremes, right? Either everyone is trying to rush for everything, or everyone has really like mentally checked out for the
Dude,
rest of the year.
I mean, I'm trying to get stuff done for clients so I can really truly check out for, as much as I possibly can for the new year.
Mhm.
Um, but man alive, like it's I love end of year because you know what? You can look back and go, son of a sea cook. Like last year I met you in November in person.
Mhm.
Like, it's only been a year,
A
and
year.
I'm actually in honor just wanna shout out with my girlfriend. It's Monica Dutt's, 50th birthday, and,
Ooh.
she's my bestie from high school, and, you met her at the EVA
Yes,
event.
I did.
That's also the night that we met Jody Lamb for the
Jody.
first time. Yes, and then my
Yes,
other girlfriend,
yes.
Tina. So, yep,
Mhm.
Tina O'Banion, from TFO Solutions, love her to death. So, we're all of us are gonna meet up tonight, and we're gonna go to Meow Wolf. So, if anyone is familiar with Meow Wolf, it started out in Santa Fe. It is, J.R.R. Martin's, investment. It's an art collective out in Santa Fe, New Mexico that J.R.R.
Mhm.
Martin gave him, I think, $2 million to convert
Wow.
a bowling alley into this immersive art, like, eye candy, like, psychedelic, maybe and shouldn't be on mushrooms if you go because, like, sober, it looks like you're on mushrooms, so if you
Oh
ever wanna know what
gosh.
those things, those psychedelics are, go to a
Uh-huh.
Meow Wolf, and I've never done psychedelics, okay? I'm just saying if I ever wanted to think about doing it, I think I'd go to a Meow Wolf. They have a location in Denver, as well as in Las Vegas. Las Vegas is a pretty cool one, and then, of course, a brand new one is in Grapevine, Texas, which is Dallas area. So I know I
Wow.
sound like a pitch for Meow Wolf because I am. I'm obsessed with them. That's another thing I cheerlead for. Other than
Okay.
Amica, Meow Wolf. Those are my 2 obsessions.
Yes, you just said two
Just saying,
keywords,
just
Amica.
saying.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. It sounds like you have so many wonderful things and amazing things going on in the background. You mentioned birthdays. I know you did. And so I wanted to take a moment to literally wish my little one, my teeny baby, who is no longer a baby. I'm just like,
I
oh my God.
know. Oh, wait,
I'm
wrong one.
like, I was
What
just like,
happened
oh
there?
my
There
God,
we go.
Yes, my baby, my little one, she turned 5 this
Oh,
past
wait, this is the last
this
girl, this is like okay, look, I got rest, but clearly not organized. Nothing helped me on that portion of it.
it's
Alright, here we
all
go. Happy
good.
birthday wait. Why don't you say it one more time? Happy birthday, beautiful. God.
Yes,
Tell your daughter
yes.
happy birthday.
I know. Happy birthday, baby. I love you.
Woot woot. Woot woot.
She's watching it. So she turned a big 5, y'all. And, yeah, so this week has been a little bit of a kind of like a sweet and I don't know, it's just it reminisces like I remember things, that I've been going through and where I am today. So it's growth, right? And, but yeah, it's I was emotional. This week was pretty intense, I would say. But anyway, baby, I love you. Happy birthday. I hope you enjoyed it this week. And I know we're still gonna have the bash, so we still have that to do. But I just wanted to tell you that love you. But yeah, so going forward, another thing that happened, I met up with so many, individuals who are on LinkedIn, but here in Houston, the local clan, like I say, and finally met the elusive Kenny.
Ken Denner, and he brought his sweet potato pie. I cannot tell you how jealous I am. I saw that picture and I was like, "Girl,
He
you
went,
neglected to tell me that you got to taste it." And there we go. Kenny
it's
D,
the
we see you on YouTube.
Kenny, thank you so much. That is like, I'm telling you, that cheesecake, I've been begging for a whole year, right? For a whole year, I've been begging for that cheesecake, and I finally got it. So, I know he made it for my. He said he was gonna do it for my birthday. We never got to meet, but it's okay. We met, this week, and I am so grateful. You are amazing. You're fantastic. You are a firecracker. I love it. So we were just having a great conversation. We also met up with Sri. Thank you for putting this together along with Mr. Robert, Incognito Barry, and Levi, Mr. Richard. Thank you so much for the ice cream for my little ones. They enjoyed it. It was so much fun. It's so beautiful to meet up, in person with individuals that you've had in your network. People don't really understand the value of that. It is valuable. You see what can
Yeah.
happen. Syya and I met literally a year ago, a little bit over a year ago, and you see collaborations, friendships, so many wonderful things that actually stem from taking, I would say, the plunge and actually meeting somebody, from your network in person. What would you say, Sia, to that?
Dude, look, you can talk to someone in 2 dimension all day long, and it's
Hmm.
a glorious, beautiful thing. But, uh, once you actually, and I know what I said it before, and I know it sounds like creepy, okay, peoples? Something about touching, again, with their, permission, peoples. I'm not saying touch people randomly, but just to people, like,
Hmm.
give them a hug. There's something about a hug. There's something about that scent of smell, right? And I'm not even going down the taste, people, so don't even go down there. But, it, when you're activating the other senses, it just heightens the connection even more. And yes, I'm talking about
Yes.
pheromones, but not in the naughty way. I'm talking about, you just vibe with people when you're just in their presence. And, you could, like, when I say vibe, you can really feel their aura in a lot of ways if you're into the hippy dippy dip stuff like that, right? But it's like,
Yep.
it's electric. It's that electricity you feel. And so that's what that picture to me, the fact that talking about Kennedy's amazing sweet potato pie, of which I have yet to have any Raquel greedy person. You could have
Che-
shipped it our way.
it's
Um,
cheesecake. I don't know how well it's gonna hold up.
well, you just, hey, Kenny D, why don't you just freeze it and send it up to Dallas? Because there's a lot of towns up here that would appreciate it, I'm sure. Or you could deliver it up here yourself, my friend.
Oh, make an impromptu visit. Look at the
Road trip,
appearance. Yes,
road trip.
absolutely. Well, guys, so I just wanted to say thank you so much for helping celebrate my daughter's birthday at that point, and also for meeting and just really embodying the spirit of the holidays and what is to give to, just to be united. I love that. And I look forward to so many of these local gatherings in 2024. So, with that said, how about we roll that intro, Miss Producer Extraordinaire?
Let us do that, my friend. It's only been like 7 minutes, 8 minutes.
Let's Hey y'all, welcome to my corner. This is your girl Raquel, aka Raki. Step into our world of connections where I'm a proud Hounds of Business Pack leader, which is a community of entrepreneurs committed to sharing positivity, growing together, and never forgetting to inject some fun. Get to know amazing people in this safe space, so come and join me in my connection corner. Hey, and dance, and
Hey, and
dance, and
dance, and
dance,
dance,
and
and
you
dance,
gotta wake
and
up. You
dance.
gotta wake up. You're awake. I think you're
I
still
am
in a
trying.
haze.
Yeah, I'm awake, but I'm also like, I haven't slept this much in like a long time that I'm like, oh my gosh, I've energy now. My, like, the ADD brain in my head is like, "Vroom," like really on fire. So
Um,
what am I gonna
um,
do? I'm just gonna keep drinking coffee because that's always a good idea.
well, hey, love. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Mm,
Hey,
mm,
look at that.
mm.
that?
Yeah, what
Okay,
does it say? Look at that. Paying homage to Miss Jennifer from Alaska. So, in
look at that.
talking about, I've always wanted to go to Alaska. So, it is definitely in my kind of like,
Bucket
plans.
list to do.
Yes, in the
We can do a
next
trip
few
there.
years, I would love to. So maybe we'll chit chat with Jennifer about that on a separate occasion. But it's one of those things because I'm planning. I'm doing so many, just thinking of the future in vision, and I want to give a special shout out to my dear Adriana Rosales because she gifted me this wonderful journal. I'm like, I got it, and
Aw.
I was just like, oh my god, look at this, y'all! It is so beautiful. So basically, it's a daily planner, it's a weekly planner, but you also can journal in it, and also you can budget. It's like a budget sheet, and it's so beautiful. Like I love it. And look at the cover, y'all. Like, oh my god, doesn't it inspire you? And it's very, very affordable. I actually ordered quite a few to gift for Christmas. So this is a great gift, y'all. If y'all see it, well, I don't know if y'all can see it, but there you go. So you
Oh,
can
wow.
journal, and then you can also do the daily planner. I don't want to take the camera. You see that? And
Yeah.
it is big. That is what I liked it. I loved it because most of the planners are like really small,
Yeah.
but this one is ginormous, and I don't lose it. I tend to lose things in my kids misplace things. So this right here it's literally hard to miss. I love it.
You know what I like about that is, it's colorful in a way
Hmm.
that it does remind you to be living in gratitude, right? And be grateful. And it's something that you
Yes.
can put on your desktop, or if you wanna put on your, like, if it's something where you zone out, like, in your if for those that have, like, those meditation chairs and couches and whatnot, you just put it right there as, like, a coffee table. I can see that on,
Yes.
like, a lot of, like, desktops, What is
I
this thing
I'm
called that we sit on? Our office desks.
Did you say desktop? Oh
Lady.
my God. Look, it's okay. So, Adriana, thank you so much, my friend. I mean, like I said, this is so beautiful. I loved it. I actually ordered, like I said, more because I want to use and keep. And the thing is, like, it doesn't have a year. You can use it any year, and it's a beautiful thing. And the other aspect that I love about it is that it's for the Latinas 100. So you remember that the first collaboration ever, my first publication,
Yes.
chapter. So, Adriana Rosales, thank you so much for this amazing gift, and to our RMPS, we're studio, the publishing studios. Thank you so much. You're amazing. So, guys, grab yourself a copy, scan the code, or if not, reach out to Adriana Rosales, or you can reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to help you with that. So, gosh, oh my God, and going from one fantastic thing to another, like seriously,
It's like
planning,
it's
planning.
like crescendoing into, like,
Yeah,
amazeballs-ness, right?
amaze balls. Wow, your terminology this morning is fantastic. Oh my God, y'all. No more sleep for you, Sia. You cannot function for sleep with sleep.
I know. Like, I don't even know what this means. Oh, no.
Oh
Okay,
my
so
God,
Big
y'all.
does know what it means because you know what it
It
is so
is.
much of, everything that we do, right? Because, you and I, we work together from a social media perspective,
Hmm.
right? We help clients, grow their social media presence on LinkedIn. Marketing is not easy, right? Like, and
It is
and believe
not.
me, our company, and, we could do sponsorship at the end, Raquel, because I really wanna
Okay.
bring our guests in because I think this is
Yes.
so important. So shout out Tausi, and Mike over at Hounds of the Business Community, as well as us,
And
um,
walking
Early
tall.
Media. We'll talk about that later. But the thing of it is this: marketing, especially if you are a smaller company, mid-size, mid-tier, there's a lot of requirements that just needs and demands, especially around what do we look at traditional? Do we look at digital? Do we look at social media perspective? And Berlin B Media is not all that. We augment marketing teams and we work in conjunction with marketing departments, et cetera. So I'm so beyond excited that we're gonna have our guests here. Do you wanna bring them up and introduce and
Absolutely. And I guess, this is one of the things that you are so good at doing. You have experience in this. And so, these ladies are phenomenal, fantastic. I mean, when I met them and I was just like, oh my gosh, like they are powerhouses. They are individuals who have, cemented themselves in this industry, and you learn so much. So without further ado, please, please, please help me welcome the dynamic duo that is Jennifer Christensen and Adrienne Wilkerson. Wilkerson.
Woo! Woo!
Good morning.
Yeah, sorry, we may have a little too much energy this morning. I know, Jennifer, is so early for you.
It's 6 a.m. for you guys, right?
No, I think it's
No, it's
8.
9 for me.
Yeah.
It's 8. It's 8 here, but it's pitch black because it's, our
Oh,
time of year where we get like 4 hours of sunlight. So, yay.
oh my goodness. See, that's another thing that I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I could get used to that. I would get depressed. I get sad, right? Like the SAD.
Mhm.
But welcome, ladies. Thank you so much for joining us on this fantastic Saturday. I've been looking forward to this ever since we met at the Mental Health Marketing Conference. And like I said, we're just like I'm like fangirling over here and like starstruck because you guys are amazing, amazing. So tell us a little bit about, each of you, and then we'll dive right into Beacon. I just love it. Yeah, Jennifer.
Awesome. Sure. Yeah, I'll start. So, I live in Anchorage, Alaska. That's where Beacon was founded, and that's where we started. And I am still here. Adrienne moved on to warmer climates, which is totally fine, even though she's my bestie and she's a long ways away. Miss her a lot. But we do talk daily. And like you said, get to see each other's faces and have that interaction. But I'm here. I have been married 30 years. I have 3 pretty amazing kids that are all grown, all in their 20s, either in college or in career. And, passion for the last, 12 years we've been doing this now. Is it 12? I don't know if it was 12 or 13. I'm like,
I think it's 12. January 1st will be 12. 12
Okay.
years.
Yeah, 12 years is growing this company, growing a marketing and media company, and really helping small businesses and to really just make an impact. So we love working with people that we're aligned with in values that we believe in. We've learned so much over the years. We were the first digital marketing agency, or maybe not the first, but I think we were the first one that grew pretty quickly in Anchorage and stayed around. And then as we expanded nationally, it's been an amazing journey. There's been a lot of ups and downs that Adrienne and I can talk about, but
Yeah.
learned so much along the way and gotten to partner with amazing, incredible businesses, and just excited to be here today and hopefully provide some value and share a little bit about what we know and answer any questions.
Awesome. Love that. Love that. Thank you. That was more than fantastic for your introduction. So, Adrienne, come on up.
Yeah. So, like Jennifer said, we started in Alaska. I was born and raised there. And she and I had a pretty crazy introduction where we knew of each other, but we hadn't actually met. And then in the space of about, 3 weeks, we ended up with 2 clients that we had that were mutual clients that we didn't even know we had mutual clients. And so that kind of was part of what started our journey together. But yeah, I've been in Alaska most of my life and just recently escaped to slightly warmer climates here in Reno, Nevada. So I get to run our Reno office now. And I've got one son. He's a crazy 16 and loves music and whatnot. So we've got about 40 acres here north of
Ooh.
Reno. So we've got a lot of random animals, and I finally got a horse, which I've been wanting since I was a little girl. So that has been a real joy of my life for the last couple of years. But yeah, my whole family, and obviously, like Jennifer said, my bestie is still in Alaska. So it's wonderful to get to go back up there and be able to connect with the team there in Alaska and with my family. I've got brother and sister and nieces and nephews and parents up there still.
Wow.
So it's definitely still and will always be a part of me, but I have definitely come to love the Reno and Northern Nevada area for sure. So my background's really in graphic design and branding and leadership. And so it was definitely a match made in heaven, I would say. Jennifer and I met in October 2011, and by January 1st, 2012, we had merged businesses. And like she said, we were pretty much the first digital agency in Alaska. A lot of people doing different pieces of it. But we were just crazy enough to try to pull it all together into a new version of what advertising was going to be looking like moving forward. So
Wow.
it's been a crazy ride, like she said.
Wow. Wow. But it's so funny that you just said that, you guys met and a few months later, you all were really partnering. It's like when right? I don't know. This is the way I feel. Like when and you have a strong core, a strong, team. And so how many people are in your team though?
We're almost up to, I think we're hovering right around 28 to 30 people on our team. Yeah. Kind of
Wow.
bouncing back.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so the distance, or the move hasn't really affected, the flow of things. Like everybody, they have it down.
It was hard at first, right, Jen?
Yeah. I mean, I'm really grateful. We actually went remote and to remote work before COVID. So a couple of years before that, we started working on that. And so we had team members outside of Alaska. We actually started expanding nationally before COVID. And so I'm so incredibly grateful for that because it definitely gave us an edge. I remember both Adrienne and I have just been through a lot, even personally, or even at the beginning of our business. And that perseverance that has taken us through that, by the time 2020 happened, our team was pretty scared, like many people were, like, oh my gosh, are we going to make it? And how are we going to get through this? And we were like, well, we've been through worse. we're going to be okay. And we're prepared for this. And, we were already just had everything in place just to kind of click in. And so our focus at that point became helping a lot of other people with small businesses that weren't quite prepared for that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think remote has been incredible. I think in the beginning, like you said, it was hard, but I feel like we had a couple of years to work towards that. It wasn't just overnight for us.
Yeah, because I think I moved out in late 2016. So we were, and then I was the first one, and then we had two other employees over the next couple of years end up, moving out of state, but being able to continue to work with us. Even though they weren't in our physical office anymore. And we started realizing that this had huge potential. We didn't have to lose talent that moved away from the core office. And but that first year, it was brutal. I mean, the amount of times we would all laugh, but I was the only one on the screen. Literally everybody else would be at the conference room table in the Anchorage office that first year. And there'd be times I'm like, hello, look at me, because that was not a habit at that point. Everybody was still looking at each other. And I'm over here on the screen going, I can't see any facial expressions. Like that was the hardest part. You were missing out on reading body language and facial expressions because everybody was facing each other. And now we laugh because we just had our big Christmas party, company Christmas party on Thursday. So we've got people in 13 states spread out everywhere. The Reno office is all at their conference room table. Anchorage office is all at their conference room table. And then everybody else we're all on Zoom. And now people look at the screen, even when they're talking to somebody that's right next to them at the table. And so it's all shifted now where we're looking at the person who's talking right here on the screen. And it's fascinating what has happened over the years that is now the norm. But now we could really laugh about it where I'm over like, hello, I'm here. I'm still here. Now it's all shifted. But we learned a lot that first year.
We did.
Syya, I think you were going to say something.
Well, I'm just laughing because it's like we're learning new, we're actually literally in real time shaping how our culture is shifting, right? And how we communicate and how we view communication and connection, which I think is interesting because I think there's some fear. I think there's definitely still fear of if we move to a pure remote type work environment, will we lose our sense of humanity, connection, etc. So I think it's kind of fun that you mentioned that because you can still be next to someone and talking to them and looking on that screen, but largely it's because they're trying to keep the other people remote, integrated, and in the conversation. Because it's very easy, because I've seen this before, where you get, we did that barbecue tasting episode, right? Where we tried a bunch of hot sauces, ladies. And in Dallas, we were in a bar and I had 4 or 5 people in our group. And it's very easy to talk amongst each other and then everyone else feeling left out, right, and creating
Mhm.
noise. But the way we were all doing it is we were taking the cues of looking at on the screen of each
Right.
other that was on there, and even then it was still a little bit crazy, but
Mhm.
we got in
Yeah.
the habit of it. I didn't
Yeah.
have to tell anybody in that group to be like, hey man, don't be talking to each other, like pay attention to the rest of the group. It was interesting. So I think
Mhm.
we're evolving in a lot of ways,
Oh,
but
Yeah.
it's
yeah.
still connection too.
Yeah,
And yes,
I think it's about being intentional,
Yeah.
Alaska. Love it. And I mean, I love what Chris just said, and I feel the same way. I mean, that is my favorite thing because I'm such a people person, and I do love in person, of course.
Mhm.
And like, I
Yeah.
mean, I
Yes.
can do that. I love it. But and when I think about the people that I've met and connected with, like Chris, like you guys, I mean, going to those conferences and then being able to still have that connection remote, it's incredible. Like
Yes.
we are,
Mhm.
if we're intentional about it and thoughtful about it, I think it can be such a positive. But we just have to be really careful of all the
Mhm.
negatives as well and just make sure people feel connected when you're part of it in culture. We're very intentional with what we do with our culture.
And
Mhm.
I love that, and because in this day and age, we really need to start. People start wondering like what their purpose is. What am I doing? Am I just going through robotic motions in life, or what am I doing? But you guys have it pretty concise and have known what you wanted to do, and having like seen you on stage speaking to the masses and really really talking about the impact and what we can do was very endearing for me. I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, this is very important, especially in the mental health, right, aspect." So, tell the audience a little bit about this, and it was what an amazing opportunity for us to see, and it was just amazing overall. Steve Turney, shout out to you for such a phenomenal event.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 You want
You
to take this one, Adrienne, or you want me to tell a little bit how we got into it?
Why don't you give a little bit of the background, and then I can jump in a little bit on this particular one if you'd like.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, really quick, when we did expand nationally, we really were intentional about what type of clients do we want to work with, where had we had the most success
Mhm.
locally, where do we feel like we could make the biggest impact. And one of the industries that we chose, we decided to really niche down, but one of the industries we chose was mental health. And so we shifted all of our marketing, speaking of marketing, to inbound marketing to reach those mental health clients. And so we were showing up at the top of Google under mental health marketing. We still are, thank goodness that keeps working. But we put a lot of effort into that. But Steve found us so many, many years ago when the conference was pretty small. And, I love his theory on that. He's like, well, if you guys are good at marketing yourself like that, this was, I think, 4 or 5 years ago.
Mhm.
He invited us to be a part of it. And the first year that we were involved was virtual. And then we got to go down. It was really small the first year. I think it was
Mhm.
like 50 to 60. But I
Mhm.
mean, Steve's one of those people, again, once you meet them, like you guys, like Chris, you're like, I want to stay connected with this person. Like they're doing something good in the world.
Yes.
Mhm.
And so we were very intentional, not even really seeing the conference as something that we would necessarily get clients from, but it
Mhm.
was a connection point to make sure we were staying relevant in the industry, connecting with the right people, learning what was going on, and it just helped us, overall as a business.
Oh, yeah, and like I said, for me, it was very interesting to see and what was going on, like innovations, and especially, I have a soft spot for the Hispanic community, for my Latinos, and so I needed to start learning what other things were out there, to inform, to educate, and further empower all the Latino professionals who are out there trying to make a difference. So it was very inspiring. Steve Turney, I cannot wait for the next one, and I know that they already started doing the call for speakers. So anyone who's interested, feel free to reach out to Steve Turney or the Mental Health Marketing Conference, or reach out to any of us. We'll be able to direct you to where you need to go. But that's amazing. So, Adrienne, in your view, like, how was this whole experience? And just let us know a little bit about your perspective from it.
Yeah. Well, this conference was very exciting for many reasons. Like Jennifer said, we've been working with Steve and been honored to be a part of this for several years. But
Mhm.
this one really felt pivotal in many ways. And one of the parts that I think was amazing was just how much Steve has embraced AI and the conversation around AI. And I feel like he did an amazing job putting, a very true opening it up for truth, but also not shying away from the fear that exists around it, the uncertainty that exists. And so Jennifer and I were very honored to be able to speak to marketing and AI here at the conference. And so that was kind of our focus for this particular presentation, which again, there's a lot of uncertainty around AI, what it's going to do, how it's going to affect, humanity, our culture, the way that we communicate, as we were talking about earlier, the way that we work. And, Jennifer and I, like she said, we've been in the digital marketing space long enough to see some of the major shifts in, foundational shifts in it. And we were kind of laughing before the conference because we're like, oh boy, we remember when the internet was not a thing, when cell phones changed how we communicated massively. That was this huge shift of all of a sudden being able to call and having it right there in your pocket or right there in your purse. And so that was this massive shift. And then, internet and computers and like, have we seriously lived through all of this? And now we're looking at social media foundationally change things, but AI is going deeper than, a lot of the recent, pieces. And obviously a lot of the stuff that came before has laid the foundation for that. But it is a massive foundational shift to humanity right now, and we believe are really seeing a shift in the age, if you will. There's the technology age, there's been the industrial age, there's been this one, and Jennifer's really kind of coined the phrase we're shifting into the intelligence age, the age of intelligence. And so it was really exciting to be able to have Steve give us such a platform to be able to talk about how that is affecting, healthcare and especially mental health. And there were some amazing speakers too that were talking about the effect of just the psychological effect of AI. And so it was a real honor to get to, to be on stage and that sort of thing for that.
Yeah. I love it. Go ahead. I think that when we talked about the thing that is so important to Adrienne and I, and that we've learned over the years, our partner Ken says that it's never the wrong thing to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And so we try to put that is exactly how we feel. It's exactly what we've tried to live out over the last 12 years. But we try to put that core ethics of how does this tie in with people first? How does this tie in with people? Like, how do we take what's happening in our world and be that kind of beacon, right? Like, how do we be a beacon to help others even just walk through this? So when we're looking at AI, like our goal is how can we use this to even enhance community? The way that you guys are using LinkedIn right now, and you're using technology right now to bring us together. You're being intentional about that. So one of the ways that we're exploring that is by educating people and giving them as much information as possible. So it's not like just the big corporations are doing it. If we as individuals don't have the information of how to move forward in this time, then other people will take control. And that is not what we're for. So I love what one of your people just said, that we have the obligation, the responsibility for shaping this, what the moral and social impact is. What do we want this to look like? Not what is being forced upon us, but what do we want this to look like moving forward?
Yeah. Oh, Mike, I love that. I love that. Yes, Adrienne, sorry, go ahead.
No, just to build on what Jennifer is saying, we have to choose to be part of the conversation. It's not a time to stick our head in the sands and pretend that it's going to pass us by, that we can't advocate that opportunity to be a part and to shape this. And so I think it's really, really important, more so than maybe almost any other time in our past, to really choose to be part of that conversation. How do we shape this for good? How do we not end up, as I was laughingly talking with some of the other, in a Terminator situation 10 years from now? Like, we have to choose to be part of the conversation and to shape that. So I agree with what Jennifer said. Yeah, we have to be part of shaping the morality and the social impact of what this is going to be.
I love it.
So I want to interject here because Chris is like going on fire. He must have had his cup of coffee today as well. And let's full disclosure, guys. So Chris Malazewski with Walking Tall Movement, he's one of the co-founders. He actually brought all four of us together, and that's why we all know each other, is because he asked Raquel and myself to help him with his Walking Tall booth
Mhm.
at the Mental Health Marketing Conference, and that's how we actually got to know you guys. And of course, Jennifer and Adrienne, you guys were gracious to sponsor
Mhm.
the sponsorship for Walking Tall to be a sponsor member. I don't know how to word that. Anyway, you guys funded Walking Tall to be a silver member or gold member or something like that, which either way, incredibly gracious of you. And for that, I think everyone is eternally grateful for.
Yes.
And I think your support of the Walking Tall movement, that I think, let's explore that a little bit, because Chris's comment here that I highlighted, I wish Annika would pass us by. Like, I have some thoughts and words about that.
Mhm.
But let's talk about your connection to Walking Tall, because it does tie into the fact that we were talking about where AI fits with marketing, right? Especially when we're marketing around mental health. So what was it about Walking Tall that you said, guys, we're going to support them and we're going to put our money where our mouth is? Because there's one thing to say hashtag support, but you guys actually put your money
Mhm.
there. What was it, ladies? And don't tell me because Chris is handsome. We need something beyond that.
Yeah, I think it's one of those moments in life where and Adrienne and I have talked about this over the years, like it's part of what I believe makes us good marketers. When you can see something that has potential, when you can see something that just needs to be amplified, but it's the core is so good.
Mhm.
And the core of what Chris is doing as the co-founder, the impact that he's making, his own skin in the game. It's one thing to help people or to make a difference when sometimes it feels like, I care more about what somebody else is doing than they care about themselves. Chris is not that. He's the opposite of that. He's putting himself all in as much as possible to make an impact, to make a difference. And I think part of our responsibility when it comes back to how do we help each other, how do we, steer and be part of the conversation, is if we have the opportunity to help amplify somebody's voice, that's a voice for good, that's a voice for something positive, we should do it, And yeah, so I mean, it's me, it's just that simple. I mean, I talked to Adrienne about it quite a bit, like, hey, I met this person, I don't know what it is, but this is one of those that we need to make, we need to make an impact. And I felt that way about small businesses before, where we've met people. We actually have a couple clients right now that are in startup mode. We don't usually take startups,
Mm.
but what they're doing is so impactful. Like, how do you not take the skills that you have and try to help?
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
what it is.
Yeah.
Pretty simple. It's about
Well,
him, it's not about us.
Well, I must say we are very thankful, just because we had the opportunity, like I said, to go out there and show the world what we're doing with Walking Tall and how everyone can really, really just unite and hey, be vulnerable together. It's okay. It's okay to say you're not okay. So encouraging people to be open and talk. Get a community, find a community. So, as you can see here, we had a blast at the conference, and we are looking forward to the next one. I know this one's going to be like the eighth one already. Oh my gosh, and bigger and better. But just having the opportunity to, like I said, network and meet with individuals who are doing things to change and be positive contributions towards the world, right? In the world. I just think it's amazing. So wanted to share that tidbit with y'all. The pictures. I know, it's just like, yeah, I haven't seen some of these pictures. So it's so cool.
I know, those are great. I need those. Those are great.
Oh, Raquel was like a demon. Like, she was like taking pictures like crazy. And full disclosure, and here's something about mental health in general. Like, one thing I took away from every attendee was there was so much grace given to each other for a lot of things that were working, not working, etc. And it was just really nice how kind everyone was. There was like a genuine desire to say, how can we help support each other? Here's what we're doing. What is there some way we can collaborate in some capacity? There was just an openness to just be better, do better, amplify. It was awesome. So Steve Cherney created such an amazing, welcoming
He truly.
event. And you know how it is at times, ladies, at marketing, it can be a little competitive of like, well, wait, we do the same thing. I did not feel any of that in any of the, like, it felt like everyone was like, great, you got that group, I got this group. How do we help each other, like, get each other more successful? It was really cool. I'm not saying it was hippy dippy. That's my favorite term, by the way. But it was very kumbaya in some capacity, like sometimes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You are just throwing those words today, Syya. Wow. Okay. Sorry, y'all. But no, it is true though. I didn't feel that any of the whole competitive thing, everybody's doing the same thing. No, like it was more like how let's amplify this. And I think the key word here is amplify, our efforts because we're all walking towards the same way. So let's just do it together to see a mass and you just amplify the effort, honestly. So to me, it was very inspirational because we are about impact, right? We are about reaching out to those individuals who just feel they might not have an advantage or they might not be getting the information that they need in order to succeed with their small businesses. So, and I love the fact that you ladies in Beacon focuses on small businesses because sometimes we're forgotten. They really are. So tell me why small businesses, what made you all? It's like I already kind of know the answer, but I definitely want you to share that with the audience.
Yeah, I'll let you take this one, Adrienne.
This one has been a foundation for me, and it's something that when Jennifer and I met, it was like we've talked about a lot today, those kind of moments of, oh my gosh, kindred spirit at the core. She gets this. She's here with me. So part of how my very first business got started, which is now kind of our parent company, if you will, is Beacon Publishing and Design. As I first started kind of getting into the graphic design world as a work, what ended up happening is I'd keep meeting friends and friends of friends and friends of family that had these small businesses and they were desperate for help. They had a great idea to start a business or they wanted to expand their business. And there weren't a lot of resources, like you said, Raquel, for those small businesses. They were often, the very small fish in the larger agency pond, which I understand. There's always a client mix that every company has to maintain. But over and over, we saw the small businesses get overlooked. And our country is built on small business. Yes, some of those end up becoming great big businesses, more power to them. But that's not what the backbone of our country. Our country is small business. It is people creating a business because they have a need in the community that they know they can fill. It's small business is community focused. It is people first inherently. That is a core of a small business. Usually every small business owner has gotten started because there's a cause. There's a reason to start that business, and it's almost always to help them. Rarely do you ever talk to a small business like, I started this because I wanted to make money. Well, right. Everybody's got to make money to be able to keep feeding into the business, to keep, living out their cause. But people start small businesses because they see a need in the community that they need to fill. And that's why Beacon got started, because as a small business owner, I saw this need. I saw this need of small businesses who were like, they would take their idea to a big agency and that wasn't a good fit, and the agency's like, well, yeah, we can do that. It's going to cost you $40,000 for a website and $20,000 for a logo. And, and that's just their prices to be able to sustain their model that they've decided to do. But that doesn't fit with the small business. And the poor small business owner is sitting there going, I can't do that. I guess I can't go anywhere with my small business. And it was like, no, that is not the message. The message is you need a partner to meet you where you're at and to give you the truth of what you can do right now. Like, okay, what's your budget? This is your budget. All right. What can we do within that budget to move the needle forward for you? And all of us would love to have champagne dreams and, we wish we could all do this up here, but the reality is we don't always have that budget, right? We've got this to work with. So that was a part of the original vision of Beacon. And this is where, when Jennifer and I met, we found this kindred spirit in each other of how can we meet these other amazing business people that want to make a change in their community? They have a vision, they have a goal. How do we partner with them and go deep with them and be honest and have truthful conversations about that is an amazing idea, but that's going to cost us $20,000 to do that. That's not realistic right now. How can we scale that down to here? And then so that we don't sink your ship before you even get out of the harbor, let's start here and then let's build to where we can get to that place, because
Mhm.
we all want to get there. And that's been a big part of our story and our journey, is meeting
Mhm.
people where they're at and working with them. They grow, we grow, it becomes this beautiful partnership. And so that's really small. And the smaller end of medium-sized businesses, they're still mostly there to make a difference in their world, in their community, whatever that is. And those are the businesses we want to partner with.
Oh,
I love that. And you know what? That is that reciprocity that we've heard this word, and it's a very popular thing that one of the sponsors, the Hounds of Business
my
community on LinkedIn, is all about is reciprocity. So speaking of reciprocity, look who showed up, Mr. Steve Cherney. I just want to give him a shout out. We did give you a shout out earlier, my friend,
Steve.
and we're very grateful for, because of you, this whole conversation is existing.
yes.
Like, that's got to give full credit as one does. So,
Mhm. Yes.
so let me ask you, Jennifer, because sometimes small businesses, we do have that challenge, as Adrienne had mentioned, with budgets and just the challenge of time, right, and the value of that. How do you address that for your clients, when sometimes you have to do things you don't want to do, and they think, gosh, I can't afford it, I'm going to do it by myself? Like, what is that value that you impart with them to understand sometimes offloading is probably the better route? Sure, there might be some investments, but how do you help these business owners understand, no, this is really going to help you slow down to accelerate, sometimes invest to accelerate growth?
Yeah, that is such a good question.
Mhm.
And even 12 years later, we are still like refining this over and over and over again, right? And really what we've come down to, we're actually working on a whole checklist right now. And it's kind of a like, we can't really work with you unless we go through this checklist, right? Because different business owners have different levels of risk that they're willing to take.
Mm-hmm.
And like, we've got clients that we have one client, like, I mean, she was basically making almost nothing, like $30,000 or $40,000. I mean, not even enough for her to sustain, but she had some money put away. She understood if she invested in marketing, it would get her to her goal. And within, I think it was 18 months, she was at $500,000. But she put in, I mean, probably the whole investment probably was about $50,000. Well, most people are like, that is a high risk, reward, right? Am I gonna invest this much in believing that if I really invest in marketing and going this direction, this is going to pay off at this level? It absolutely, marketing can do that. When you have people that are experts, the right partners, they know how to do what they're doing, and you really partner that way, that can be amazing. Like, if you really want to grow at that rate. And we, like I said, we've done that. We have those case studies. We have other clients that, maybe we've had a couple like that weren't fully honest with themselves, that they just couldn't handle a high level of risk. And they really didn't have the backing and the ability to wait the 3 to 4 months to really start seeing massive returns. And it caused them a lot of stress. And so we're actually vetting at that level now of, okay, let's look at return on investment. Let's look at, what do you really have that you can count on, that you're willing to risk at what level? Because your average marketing budget, should be somewhere between 5 to 10% of your gross revenue. So for $1 million company, if you're spending $10,000 a month, that's great. That's, you're going to get good returns if you're spending it in the right way. But for somebody who's making, 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, like, that is tough, right? You're not going to be able to even get enough off the ground to actually make that much of an impact unless you're spending more. So you're going to have to spend at a higher level. And
Mm.
it all comes down to just education, being super honest. That's we spend a lot of time educating. We get about 40 to 50 leads a month that are coming into us, and we're only closing 4 to 5. So a part of that is just, we have to just tell people, hey, this is what it is. Here's what it's going to take. And then here's other options if we're not a good fit for you. Like, here's things you can do yourself to start with,
Mhm.
get to that point where you can, do the investment. But your question is like the age old question.
Yeah.
Right? It comes down to, it really is that gut wrenching as an entrepreneur. How much do you believe in it? How much are you willing to risk? And what can you risk? And then on top of that, choosing the right partner. So, like, for example, if somebody comes to us and they're like a big, let's say they want to grow this massive e-commerce brand, we're probably going to tell them, okay, even if you're willing to invest, let's say $20,000 a month, we're probably not the best fit for you. Like, here's some marketing agencies that are really good, or people that know how to scale e-commerce brands. In fact, I know we're going to do that because that is what we do.
Yeah.
So then it's like you got to find the right person to make sure you're connected with the right partner.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Am I answering that well?
Yeah, no, because it's going to lead into my next question that we all encounter. Now, I know our companies focus on businesses typically, and usually more established businesses. However, there's going to be a lot of folks here in the audience that are solopreneurs. And Dr. Kimberly Tufts, I see your 2 questions, and we will get to in a second. But you're going to get a lot of amazing entrepreneurs that are starting out, right? Yeah. Solopreneurs that are starting out. So what is your advisement for those that are like, okay, you know what? I can't afford you guys just yet. Yeah. And you give them guidance on, hey, here's some baby steps. Here's some things you could do on your own. That's not going to, break the bank, that you could here's some best practices to look at, right? What happens when you get one of those clients that look at you and they're like, well, why do you charge so much? Why can't I just go to like Fiverr then and pay someone, to do it cheaply, remotely, wherever they are located, if your team is also remote? How do you guys address that?
Yeah, it's really quality and results. And sometimes Fiverr is, Adrienne will hate me for this, but sometimes it is the best bet when you first start out. You have to look at, for your brand and your company, it really depends on what type of company you have, right? Does spending a couple $1,000s on a logo really make sense to start with? It may not, right? It may not be the thing that you need to do. So generally, foundationally, the first thing you need to do in business is test the market.
Yep.
So before you're spending thousands of dollars on your brand, this is funny coming from a marketing person, I know, but it's absolutely the truth. You need to find out what your market is going to resonate with. You may not even know in the products or services you're offering what is going to be the most, what people are going to go with. My husband just started a tour business this year, and we started it out as a VIP airport pickup tour. And then it ended up a whole nother section of the business, a very specific cruise ship transfer for like 10 times the amount of money than we expected, is what took off. So we just kept testing the market, right? We put things out there. We interviewed people. We talked to clients. We gave away stuff for free. That's how you build a small business. You put out content, like somebody was just asking about organic content. You put out content, you ask people, you collaborate. All the things that you ladies do, even intrinsically, is incredible. You're asking questions. You're finding out what people really need. Back to what Adrienne said, every small business is based on providing a value and hitting a need in the market. So if you don't even know what that is yet, do not spend a bunch of money on marketing.
Yes. Yeah.
What if you market the wrong thing? What if you just
or to the wrong people? Right thing, wrong people. It's the same result.
Yeah.
It is such a common problem. I've talked to so many great folks that, you're asking them, so who is your target market? Who are you talking to? Who is your client ideal? And I cannot begin to tell you the demographics are like, oh, well,
everyone.
They're on LinkedIn.
Everyone.
Everybody loves me. Look at me. It's like, no. Try this one more time. Yeah. But I also, so here's another question I have is, there is an argument of, if I'm going to create content, or if I'm going to have a product solution, go with a niche, go niche down and focus on one thing that you really know.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that advisement?
100%. That is our advice across the board. And you try to be everything to everyone, you will be nothing to no one. That is, and the problem is, people look at big companies and they're like, oh, I want to be the Starbucks of blah, 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 or I want to be, and I get that. But you are so far from that. You have to find your core first. You have to go that direction first, or you will not be successful. even when we niche down, I mean, when I look at where we are now, like we just got the Inc. 5000 this year, and that is because we niched.
Right.
That's because when people come to us, they know, okay, these guys have worked with hundreds of clients in this area. They know what works. They have a formula. They are going to achieve a different level of success than if I just go to a general marketer, right? That's what has propelled our growth in such a major way. So I cannot emphasize that enough. You either niche down in your service or you niche down in your industry.
And it's scary to niche.
It is.
Really is. I mean, I will own it took us years, you guys, to get up the courage to do this.
Yeah.
We had been told this by other experts. We had been told this. We had read this in a bunch of business books. I mean, we heard the same thing everybody's hearing today, that you've got to niche. And we wrestled with it for years.
We did.
Years. We try, we dip our toe in. We're just like, but if we go all in, what's going to happen over here? And that's a huge risk. And so we fought it, like many people, we fought it for years and years and years. And honestly, I think that is something I can credit COVID for. It forced us to niche. It forced us to face that again. We kept going around the mountain until we were going to learn this lesson, is what it felt like. And that's when, yes, we all have to grow. And that's really what happened, is we had to face that head on. And like Jen said, the moment we did that, I just did a presentation to an executive group I work with, and we have to show each other our financials. And I was just showing them our last 4 years of financials. And you can see they're kind of like, oh yeah, they're good. Until we hit the quarter in 2020, we decided to 100% commit. And our numbers start going like this. And it wasn't overnight, but when you back up and look at the trends, you could see us fighting for that profit margin, fighting for that growth. And it was happening, but then it was hard. It was, every step was a fight. And it's not like instantly things got easy by any means, but we could focus that energy down. Like Jen said, either niche down your service, do one thing and do it better than anybody else, or to the best of your ability, or niche down into a niche and go deep with that niche, whatever that is. And so for us, that's the mental health and behavioral health industry. But yeah, it was transformational for us once we finally got the courage up to make that leap and do it. So I think a big part of my tip is don't wait as long as we did. And it's not like we didn't hear that either, but learn from us. Don't wait as long as we did. Take the plunge. It is scary as heck, but it is absolutely worth it.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you guys, you couldn't be more on point with the vibe of society embracing mental health conversations, right? Being more aware, just of awareness to say the word mental health without a stigma, right? And it's still there, but it's so much more open. And so for you guys to, be the masters of that messaging and that, and just learning how this works and helps. There's a lot of psychology in that too, but I think you guys have like the best timing. So if I can just like move us along just a little bit here is because Dr. Tufts, you've been asking a lot of great questions and I don't want you to think that we're not answering it. Why not Fiverr? The only way I would suggest this, Fiverr is a great tool like any other thing, and it's a great resource. If you don't mind being your own GC of your own business, where you know your own strategy and you just need the execution part of it, and you have the time and wherewithal to understand the parts and pieces to have a successful execution, then go for it. The only gotcha with Fiverr is it's like anything. Now you become your own recruiter to look at the talent. And now you're going to get a lot of, I hate to say it, duds before you find your diamonds. And so if you've got the time, patience, wherewithal, then go for it. It's now at this point, it's time to value with Fiverr and other types of, platforms that give you, quote, cost effective labor for what it is, but you better be clean and clear on what you need, because Fiverr is a lot of international folks. So if you are not clear in your communication, it's in essence like going to Chat GPT or AI platforms, and you're going to get what you put in to the machine, if you will.
That is
so that's my answer to Fiverr.
That is freaking brilliant, by the way.
The best way I've heard it put so far. Yes,
I'm gonna take that. That was so brilliant, because the reason people come to people like us and people like you is because they don't have the strategy. They don't know what's going to work. They don't know. I mean, that is the hardest part, you guys.
Yeah, the experience.
There's people that can execute, but we have found this in our business over and over again. We have gone around and around and around the mountain, and then we finally hire an expert, and all of a sudden we've leaped forward 10 spots. So it's just when you don't know what you don't know, it is really hard to use something like Fiverr. So that's a great example.
It is.
I was gonna say, I love your mountain analogy of like, you can be circling that mountain at the base all day long, but until you start finding your niche, because oh wait, shocking, when revenue grows, then you get a little bit tighter, and then before you know it, your revenue is like really accelerating because you've also niched, and you've also, I think when niching, you know your message and it's cleaner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and
it's easier to say what you do.
You don't have to recreate the wheel as much too, because there is a consistency in the messaging when you are focusing in on a niche, and you now can focus in on the nuance of that messaging and what is really specific to that person, instead of having to relearn a whole new industry or relearn a whole new service and essentially start from scratch every time. And so that really is where then that expertise that you can bring to the table grows exponentially, because now you can keep focusing in and getting better and better and better, instead of having to stay really broad and continue to kind of relearn everything every time.
Yes. 100%. Love it.
Yeah, I've been sitting back here because I'm just like, oh my gosh, that applied to me, because it in any journey that we're starting that we don't know, you really think that you want to help everyone, because this is me. I want to help everyone, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, but you need to niche down. But I'm like, no, I want to help everyone. And
I know,
you are
I get it. Trust
correct.
me. Yeah.
You are correct when you say that once you get that clarity, and this is the way I explain it, once you have clarity of the message of your brand and where you want to go, it's like you're going to be on a highway, because you're not going to allow distractions to deter you from actually getting there. So that's like my analogy to myself to understand it. But you guys are amazing in that aspect. That's why I surround myself with people smarter than me, okay? Because I learned so much.
We should all do that.
All ships rise with the tide, Raquel.
They do.
I feel bad. I don't think we answered the question though. On like, there was people who asked marketing questions. Should we go back to that, or?
Yeah. So I just pulled it up.
Yeah.
So Ajaya, hey, Ajaya, I appreciate your comments. Just a heads up, I can't post all of your comments. You guys go back and please read it. But they're big, long ones. Otherwise, it'd take up entire screen. So it's like very thoughtful comments. So definitely check it out. But he does ask a questions. Are there ways to build an ecosystem in which all contributors feel valued, heard, and rewarded beyond transactions?
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, are you talking ecosystem, like you're trying to build an online community? I mean, if that's the case, I think these two ladies have done an incredible job right here. So it's because it's really about uplifting and empowering others, right? And then you got to take your ego out of it. I mean, I don't know if you've read Simon Sinek's book. I'm in the midst of it now. Adrienne's been trying to get me to read it forever, but it is that infinite game thinking. So it's recognizing that if you truly are giving away value and helping others, people will come to you and look at what your services are. So it's hard as an entrepreneur, because we have to drive revenue for our businesses to scale and to be able to live and all of those things. But if you're serious about building a community, then take your core people that are already fans or that you're already connected to, and just have a conversation. Ask them, what do you need? Like, what are your biggest pain points? How can I help you? Like, what can I help put together that's going to help address these questions? So, I've learned a lot, like from Facebook communities before, where I had questions about SEO, and I'm involved in a couple Facebook communities, and everybody freely gives information. And it took me, I think, months and months and months, but I finally went back and actually bought a service from the person that put the group together, because they were just letting all this information flow back and forth. And every once in a while they would pop in with with a really good answer, and so knew they were an expert, but they didn't push their service on anybody.
Right.
They were providing that place, that safe place for everybody to get good information. And to both these ladies' point, I wasn't ready in the beginning. I didn't have the budget. I wasn't ready to spend money on that. But by the time I was, then I went back to that person.
Yeah.
So I think it's intent. And then I just don't think we ask enough questions.
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
We just don't ask our clients enough questions. We don't ask each other enough questions. Like, we've got to go deeper.
Well, and the point too, I think, just to build on what Jennifer's saying, is we've got to ask questions not with the intent to respond, but the intent to really learn. And that is something that I think our culture in general, because we're so fast now, we're not slowing down to speed up. We're not slowing down to really hear what's being said, to really truly hear the answers, and to see what's in between the answers, if you will. And that question of tell me more, and just every time you think you've gone deep enough, tell me more. And how can we get down to the core of what's truly going on? And I believe asking questions like that is part of how you create that environment, that ecosystem of being heard, and it going beyond transactions, because that is an innate human need to be heard and to have connection. And that is a big part of how we feel connection, is when we feel like we've been truly heard. And how many times do we say that? I feel like you really get me. That's that connection. And our society moves so fast now. Social media moves so fast. It's all about the glam shots and the whatnot. And we're not going deep with each other. And it's funny because we find at first clients don't always trust us that we really, truly want to hear.
Yeah.
Because people,
I love what you're saying to that, because ultimately, and this kind of feeds into Alexander Smajuk. Sorry if I said your name wrong. He makes a point. Look, all entrepreneurs, well, I'm assuming you're probably typing this, is entrepreneurs are sometimes not ready for marketing at the start. And I agree with the statement. When you're starting out, I would suggest focusing on your why, as you'd mentioned, Adrienne, right? Because it's going to be the motivator. It's going to be what gets you up and out of bed, like 6 a.m. The kids are crying, the spouse is nagging, the dog pooped in the yard, whatever, right? And you got to get up and get yourself up and out there. Marketing, I think, sometimes gets this bad rap, right? Of marketing is like kind of confused with selling, right? And it's just presenting yourself in a way that will attract the people that you want to attract. That's how I think of marketing.
Yeah.
And so, yes, you don't need to go in and do a email campaign and, all this stuff, you guys. Sometimes leverage social media for what it can be, which is, hey, here's an opportunity to get to know me. Here's a get to know me opportunity. And as you progress as an entrepreneur, people do business with they know, like, and trust, right? So whatever, you might be the best underwater basket weaver in the universe, but you don't want to be talking about underwater basket weaving in every fracking comment you make, right? It's about, hey, I learned that I had dexterous fingers because I played piano because my parents beat me. I'm kidding. Don't say that. Just kidding. But you know what I mean? Like, what's the story behind your dexterity around underwater basket weaving? Like, find something relatable. So yeah, Alexander, I get what you're saying. And I 100% believe, just be you, because people will find you that need you, and it will come. You don't have to go straight gung-ho marketing, look at me and look at my underwater basket weaving business, every fracking post or everything you say. It overwhelms people, at least from my perspective. Do you guys agree or disagree?
Oh, 100% agree. And I'd say the only thing is that I'll bring up the woman card. Sometimes as women, we aren't as good at just being clear and asking for business. That would be the only opposite to what you're saying. Like, I absolutely agree. You don't, like, you putting out there every other day, this is what I do, this is what I do, this is what I do. Like, that just turns people. I actually have somebody doing that to me right now. Like, they're texting me, Facebooking me, LinkedIn. I mean, oh my gosh, driving me crazy. And finally, I'm just like, just stop. I know what you do. You haven't even asked me what I need.
Right.
right?
Mm.
So, but I will say the opposite of that is definitely I have seen women business owners that are afraid to ask. They're afraid just to say, "Hey, I'm really good at this. This is a
Yeah.
service I provide. I can help you."
Mhm.
And then I'll see somebody else that maybe isn't as good as what they do, but they're just out there talking about it, and yeah. But
Mhm.
you're spot on. I use the example online. I'll say, if you go into a networking meeting, like a chamber or whatever, there's that one person that goes around and like gives their card to everybody and like basically like spams everybody in person.
Yeah.
We're just like, hey, I do this, come do business with me. I do this, come do business with me. And you just don't ever want to talk to that person. So don't be the
Right.
online
Yeah.
of that
Right.
guy.
Yeah, we don't
We call
like
that bitch slapping.
yeah, we
lot.
don't like pitch slapping around these corners over here. It's very unattractive, to be honest
It
with you.
is.
So
It's off-putting.
it is.
Well, to your point earlier, people don't like to be sold, but they
No.
love to buy, and they love to buy from people that they know, like, and trust. If you have not established that foundation first, then you are pitch slapping. Like,
Mhm.
get over it, slow down, build that relationship, establish that you guys do know, like, and trust each other. Then start talking about business. And it's not like you can't talk about the fact that you do this business, but I grew up in non-denominational Christian church, and we used to have a thing, quit shoving the Bible down their throat. And that's
Yeah.
basically what pitch slapping is. It's like, here's my business card, I'm going to shove it down your throat. So slow down, establish that relationship, connect with each other.
Mhm.
Then the business will flow, and it will flow on a much, much deeper level because there's that foundation of know, like, and trust, which means the client's not going to jump ship the second somebody else comes and pitch slaps them with a better pitch.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's the
Mhm.
truth. That
You
yeah,
have
that's
longevity.
yeah, honestly, you don't want those people.
No.
Yeah, we know, like honestly, if a client signs with us, like without like really even having a conversation, we're like, not a good sign.
Mm-mm.
Mhm. Mhm.
No.
To
Like,
me,
yeah,
yeah, to me, like I always say connection before transaction. And many
Love
people
that.
don't internalize it, right? They're like, really? Like, no.
Mhm.
Especially on LinkedIn, people just like, oh, they're like, oh, I really would like to get to know you. And they want to connect. And I'm like,
Oh.
okay, sure, let's connect. And then, oh, this is what I do. And I'm like,
Mhm.
really, dude? Like,
Mm.
it just doesn't sit well with me, and I automatically
No.
don't want to do business with you. And
Mhm.
even if your product it might have, or service may have been something that I was interested in, that right there just tells me, nah, this is not who I want.
Yeah.
It's because that person turned you off.
Right.
So, like, look, all four of us are very well aware. What we do is not like nuclear fission, okay? Like, we're not like freaking like, writing and rewriting the code for artificial intelligence folks like who can do all that amazing stuff. We're replaceable in that context. But our value, our experiences, our wisdom, our connection is really what makes the experience valuable to our clients and for whatever it is that they, service whatever that they need.
Mhm.
So, guys, we can keep
I
talking about this.
know.
And I love you guys like love song babies, but
Yeah.
look, if we could, and by the way, everyone scan. I'm keeping the QR code up because we're on record-breaking scans right now for you guys.
Ooh.
I have never seen this much scanning going on. So clearly there's you guys are like resonating with the audience today. And everyone, please connect with each other on LinkedIn, but don't pitch slap each other, right? Like just learn who you are. And let's go. Oh wait. Oh shoot.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
When Syya says that is
I
something.
have to put this one question up. I'm sorry because I actually argued with someone about this literally the other day, and unfortunately it's LinkedIn user, so I don't know who this is. So it could be who we were just both talking. Oh, did it hide it? Is it going?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
about
come
the
on,
free
go.
consulting.
Mhm.
Yeah, I want to answer that too. That's a good one.
Okay. All right.
Let's answer this one, and then if you don't mind, Raquel, because otherwise we will be here all day, and we're giving free consulting now.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
exactly.
Let's talk about
It's all
that.
good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge believer in giving away tremendous value, but I tend to do it at scale because that's the only way I can do it, right? That actually doesn't hurt our business. So I give away a lot of value. I mean, if you guys go through our blogs, we literally have step by step by step
Mhm.
how to do what we do. Like,
Yep.
if you want to do video for mental health, if you want to do Google ads, if you want to, we like literally lay it out. We give away all the value of everything we do. I have no problem with that, because I know at the end of the day, 90% of people, they struggle with the core piece, which is the strategy, the understanding, the niching. Like, they struggle with that piece more than anything, which means the execution is just very rarely on point. So, and I'm not saying I'm giving it away because of that. I'm just saying like that. I just know that it's a good value. I'm giving away value, but it doesn't hurt us. So as far as the consulting, I don't believe in that. Like one-on-one, I'm going to charge for my time. My time's incredibly valuable. So besides giving away all the, I mean, I feel like if you really want help, you know, and you're not willing to go look at all the resources, and we're talking like hundreds of resources that we put out there, and you're not willing to pay for it, like I'm probably not going to go.
Spend your time doing it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that has drawn Jennifer and I to digital marketing from the beginning. The term that was used back when we first started this was inbound marketing. And the idea was that you can't give enough information away. You put that out there, people are looking and they will come into you, if you will. They will come approach you because you are meeting them where they're at and you're providing them with important, helpful information. And so I agree with Jennifer. We put out and will continue to put out, you know, more information outlining exactly what we do. But as far as individual one-on-one consulting, we have learned that lesson the hard way, that there has to be a value to what we're producing. And so even if it's marginal or whatnot, there still has to be, like, we even used to do this with our classes. We had to charge, even if it was $10. We charge something for our classes because there's got to be that give and take. There's got to be value on both sides.
Yeah, then there's always something that Syya has, you know, Sya's voice is in my head ingrained, because people don't value free.
Nope.
And that's why I mean, I've learned this from
It
Syya.
devalues it. You are feeling it.
Right there. She's like, people don't value free, you know, and we've seen it all along this year in different projects that we've worked in, different things that we've done. And it is true. People don't value free. So, you know, and it's okay to charge for your expertise, for your time, for everything. And ladies, the value that you have given during this program and this hour that we've been on is just monumental. So, audience, I really hope that you've been taking notes and also scanning that QR code to make sure that you know how to reach out to these phenomenal ladies. But not only that, we didn't even get to your podcast, The Beacon Way. Oh my God, you also had, you know, you also have a podcast, for God's sake. I mean, just like, what don't you guys do?
Sleep.
I can believe that.
Okay. I'm going to assume your main primary QR code that we had up there has the way to get to the Beacon Way podcast.
Yeah, it's on the website.
We're going to put this up there. But ladies, I just want everyone to hear this. We are at a record of QR code scanning. We're at 35. This is like never happened before. So thank you so much, ladies. You're resonating, and everyone in the audience, get to know Jennifer and Adrienne, and, like, you know, find out what works for you. If they are not right for you, definitely take the time. You guys, educate yourself. YouTube is freaking free. Like,
yes,
you've got this, peoples. So check out the Beacon Way podcast. So now, if you don't want to watch it on YouTube, you just listen.
Yes.
And multitask.
Yes.
It's okay.
And y'all are on Spotify, correct? And Apple, right?
And Apple, and
okay. Awesome.
Podbean, I think. Yeah, most of the main ones.
Awesome. Ladies, this has been amazing. I usually like to ask, you know, just parting words, a golden nugget that you can share with the audience, more value, just something that, you know, it's a parting ways. Like, what would you say, Jennifer? We'll start with you.
I would say whatever you do, make sure that this is really authentically you and you're not trying to be somebody else, because as the business scales, you'll be very unhappy if you're not true to who you are. So be authentic, go deep, be real.
Authenticity for the win. Yay.
Yes.
Adrienne?
I would honestly second that. You know, find your why, find your cause, because yes, when starting a business, running a business is a lot of work. And there, you do not have set hours. Everything rests on you. And if you are not doing it because you love what you're doing and you believe to your core in what you're doing, it's just gonna kill you. I mean, it's gonna burn you out, it's gonna chew you up and spit you out.
Mm,
And so it is that why, it is the cause that keeps you getting up every morning and showing up after you've just worked for 16, 18 hours the day before.
mm,
It's what gets you up again every morning, and some mornings are harder than others. So, our why has fluctuated sometimes, but we've always been able to, through leaning on each other, coming back to our true north. And so I'm really thankful for that. But
mm.
find somebody to hold you accountable to your true north.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. Oh my gosh. Guys, well, I will say that, this has been very enlightening, in just being surrounded with three experts in this marketing world, and learning the tidbits here and there. And I just hope that the audience were in whichever part of the journey you are, whether you're just formulating an idea, you're starting, you barely started, you're a startup, you're midway there, or you're already established, really, really, really reach out to expert. So my golden nugget would be never stop learning, because it
Mm,
is this, we are perpetual students of life. And
mhm.
if you keep that open mind, you will always notice that your paces will be more advantageous as you go through your life. So I'm just I said honored, and I am so happy that we were able to have this conversation, because so much value was delivered. So we usually, since we met through Walking Tall, we will pay homage to what the sentiment of that is. So we will sign off with those two wonderful words that we always say, and that Chris Malizuski from Walking Tall always says, which is walk tall. So on the count of three, ladies, we will sign off like that. Thank you again to the audience. Thank you for being here and for supporting. Connect with with all of us, and also connect with each other in the audience. So at the count of three, we'll say walk tall. Okay, ladies. So 1, 2, 3.
Walk
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 tall.
tall.
Walk
tall.
tall.
Yeah.
Bye bye, y'all.
Woo!
Thanks for joining us, and I hope inspired you to make a new connection. Please like and subscribe, and let's build a great community in our little corner, where we get serious business done by injecting fun. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, come back to Raquel's Connection Corner.